Hello everyone, welcome to GoTarryn TV. I'm Taryn, the traveling trainer with GoTarryn Personal Training here in the greater Atlanta area, about to welcome a wonderful guest back here onto GoTarryn TV, Ms. Elsie Trawick. Now before Elsie arrives on today's show, I'd like to ask everyone out there, if you please be so kind as to like this video, leave us a comment, and share it with all of your friends and family out there. Today, we're going to be talking about the struggle with food. On today's episode, it's going to be very interesting. We're going to talk about food addiction, food struggles and challenges, because it's a real thing. And Elsie is definitely the person to talk to that about, and she's also going to be telling us some tips and suggestions and some overall great advice on how we can win this battle and this war against food and be a greater, better us. So stay tuned, and we will have Elsie here momentarily. And remember, with GoTarryn Personal Training, it's your time, it's your investment, it's your life. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everybody. And as I promised, we're going to be talking about the struggle with food today. And who better to tell us about struggles with food than Elsie Trawick. Elsie, how are you doing out there today?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, it really is. You're right. And we're full on in the summer. So how's your summer going, first of all?
Summer is heating up. Let me tell you that much. It is getting beautiful outside. We're getting into the thick of things, and there's a lot happening all around town. The farmers markets are in full swing, which is wonderful.
Oh, yes.
Lots of fresh fruits and veggies available, local fruits and vegetables available, which is always a big thrill and a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, certainly. And this is the time. And so it's also a time that we've talked about this before, but I guess more specifically where people have a lot of challenges, don't they, in eating, like both with quantity and quality, which I'm sure you're going to talk about today.
And that you've hit the nail on the head. There is a lot of people are challenged today with what to eat. There's so many prepared foods that are out there. There's so many things, energy bars, energy bites, prepared foods. Almost all the grocery stores now have a salad bar, a hot bar. They're also doing a lot of meals already made up that in the refrigerator section that you just take home and grill. Kebabs, hamburger patties, meatloaves, all kinds of things. Fish already breaded and seasoned, crab cakes, shrimp on skewers. So there's so much out there to help us save time. But does it save us in the health department is what we need to look at. What are in some of those marinades? What are in some of those dry rubs? What are in the prepared foods that we're buying? Another big category I want to briefly touch on is every day it seems like somebody's touting a new superfood or a vitamin or mineral to add to our diet. How do we know we're getting what we need to be healthy? You know, a lot of people are like, oh, am I doing everything I can to be healthy? Or there's some people are like, I don't know what to eat, so I'm just going to go over here and get all this yummy prepared food because it looks good. I'm the one who's cooking it. And then there are others who are like, well, I'm being told that this Amy's frozen food dinner is made with organic material, so I'm going to eat it.
Right.
And then there are people who are like, you know what, I don't know what to eat, so I'm going to eat what I like. They're eating pizza. They're eating Mexican food. They're eating, they're eating what they like. And then they come back, we all go to the doctor to get our physicals, or we see the scale going up. We get a report for high blood pressure, high triglycerides, high cholesterol. And we're like, I thought I was eating healthy.
Yeah.
You know, what do I do? But and another thing I want to bring up is some of us, and quite frankly, this used to be me, struggle with what to eat. We're busy. We're active. We, we want to go and do and not be tied to, well, I've got to fix something to eat, or I've got to fix this, or I've got to do this, which is why the prepared food market is so booming right now, because people don't want to cook.
Mm-hmm.
But then they also get these reports from their doctors. They're gaining weight, their numbers are way off, or they don't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of issues here. And a lot of it is because a lot of us, like I said, struggle with what to eat to be happy and healthy. And this is where, as a health coach, I really want to help people understand what they need to eat. If there was a one-size diet that fits all, we would all be doing it, and we would all be happy and healthy. We would all be at a stable weight. Our skin would be beautiful, our weight would be great, life would be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what happens. We really have to focus on ourselves and figure out what way to eat, how to eat, what to eat works for us.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us do great with a vegetarian diet. Some of us do great with a vegan diet. Some of us live paleo. Some of us live keto. And some of us don't want to make any of those choices, and we eat it all. It's fine. It's first determining what your health goals are.
Mm-hmm.
Do you personally want? For some of us, that means we want to get off prepared foods. For some of us, we want to get off gluten. For some of us, we want to eat more whole foods and fruits and vegetables. Some of us don't know where to even begin or how to start getting off the roller coaster of crazy unhealthy foods to bring our weight down, to bring our numbers down on our health. Where do we start?
Yeah,
so first, true. I want to say that we need to look at our relationship with food. Mm-hmm. How do we internally feel about it? We all need water to live, and we all need fuel for our body, which is food. What do we eat? Again, what are our health goals? Where is like if I'm talking to you, where are you right now with where you want to be health-wise? Do you have something you want to work on? Is it you want to lose the last 5 pounds? Or is it you've got more to lose? Or is it internal? Do you want to get your blood pressure down? Do you want to get off the diabetes medications? Mm-hmm. Type 2 diabetes can be remedied by changes in diet. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we have to go back to food is fuel, food is medicine, and eating a healthy diet helps us maintain a healthy body.
It's very true.
So it's how we look at food and what we're eating. Determine what your health goals are for you personally, and then start looking at how do I accomplish these goals. I highly recommend working with a health coach. Some of this can start in your doctor's office if you're on medications for high blood pressure, high triglycerides, high. Are you pre-diabetic? Mm-hmm. Are you diabetic? Talk to your doctor and see what they say. Get some recommendations so that you understand your health situation. Then start looking out there what appeals to you. Again, I go back to if you're struggling, get a coach. Find a health coach that you can relate to, that understands your situation, and that you connect with. Because a health coach is going to be your accountability partner, your biggest cheerleader. Mm-hmm. They're going to provide you with information and direction with where you want to go. And our relationship, food can be a prickly pear for a lot of people. Many of us have a love-hate relationship with food. Mm-hmm. We will starve ourselves all week eating only salads, only lean proteins, or we'll just really restrict our diet, and then we'll say on the weekends I can eat whatever I want, and we go crazy. We don't. So all the good you've done during the week, on the weekends, you blow it out. And then you're like, but I just can't seem to get this last 5 pounds off.
Mm-hmm.
What am I doing wrong? Then, what you're doing wrong is you're blowing it out over the weekend. If you have a goal, your focus should be attaining that goal. Mm-hmm. And when you attain that goal, sit back, look at where you are. Now you've attained that goal. Now you want to maintain that status quo, having met that goal. Is there a new goal that comes into place? Say it's getting that last 10 pounds off or getting 10 pounds off. Once you get the 10 pounds off, now your goal is maintenance. You want to maintain that 10-pound loss so that you've just reset your body's set point. So once you've attained that goal, now you have to think, how do I maintain it? And so maintenance comes into play, and that's your new goal, is maintaining that weight loss. What did you do to get there? Now you have to sustain that weight loss. You have to sustain that eating level and not go slip into your bad habits or what got the 10 pounds on in the first place. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's looking at what you're eating. How did you get it off? Now you've got to sustain that. So it all works together. Yeah, I am, as you know, I'm a big believer in the Whole30, and because the Whole30 is a great way to detox the body. I help coach people through the Whole30. It's one of the tools in my toolbox that I use. Because the focus of Whole30 is eating whole foods, eliminating trigger foods. And the Whole30, in my Whole30 program, it's an 8-week program because I add 2 weeks for the reintroduction of trigger foods. So you introduce dairy, you reintroduce legumes, you reintroduce foods over a 2-week period so you can see if you have a negative reaction. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the way you have to do it if your goal was to lose weight and you get the weight off. Now you've got to figure out how to navigate that line and not cross it again and regain the weight. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's always a work in progress.
Yeah, it is. And what you just said too, the maintaining, sustaining, some would probably say that's probably even harder than just getting to that point of finally losing the weight. Would you agree? What do you think? I mean, necessarily, is that a generalization that's fair?
No, I think that's very fair because maintenance is a lot harder. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There has been a lot of research, especially with patients who undergo bariatric surgery, gastric bypass, gastric sleeve. They have a critical 2-year period within which they're coming down the scale. They're losing weight. Right. And there's a 2-year set point. A lot of those patients regain their weight during and after a 2-year period because they haven't learned how to eat to maintain a weight loss.
That makes sense.
And it's also, if you've got 35, 45, 50 pounds, as you take off the weight, you have to learn to eat to maintain that weight loss. Because as you get slimmer and trimmer, your body doesn't need as much food, as many calories, as it did to maintain a higher weight. Even if you're active and you're losing weight, you still need to cut back and trim it down so that you are eating your essentials to maintain this new lower weight, this new lower body mass.
That makes sense. And you touched on it too, Elsie. You know, the emotion. People are really tied to it emotionally. Like people will starve themselves, like you said, if they're depressed, or or if they're depressed, they might overeat. Right? I mean, it works.
Yeah.
In
We
many
have
different.
a huge emotional attachment to food. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I can't give up my this," or "You want me to give up my creamer in my coffee? You want me to give up my honey in my tea?" It's like sugar. And the underlying thing is our body is not one-dimensional. Our body is a network of chemistry and physiology working together.
Right.
So we've got to understand that just eliminating calories is not enough. Calories are not all the same. Calories have different reactions in our body. I think you remember several years ago, I struggled with high blood sugar for 3 years. I was at a normal weight, but for 3 years, I was diagnosed with high blood sugar. And I was like, what is going on? And until that third year where it clicked in with me, it's like, this is not an anomaly. I am on my way to prediabetes and diabetes if I don't figure out what's going on. My body was not processing sugar. I did my first Whole30. I then had my follow-up A1C, and I was within normal range. To make sure that wasn't a one-off, I committed to 12 months of eating Whole30-ish for 12 months because I wanted to make sure I brought that blood sugar level down for consistently. And so what I did is I got my calendar out. Here's my little calendar. For those who are trying to work on a health goal, get yourself a calendar. I charted every holiday, every family gathering, every girls' trip, every girls' birthday dinner. I put it all on my calendar. So I knew when I was either going to be tempted or going to splurge. So I had it all down, and I could pick and choose, and I looked at everything. In fact, I was just talking to a client today about this. It's not the fact that you're going to splurge one day. It's, say you buy a birthday cake for a friend, and you say, I'm going to allow myself to have a slice. And then there's birthday cake left over, so I'm going to take this home, and I'm going to let myself have a slice every day for next week. Like, having the one slice is fine, especially if you're trying to maintain. You've lost weight, now you're trying to make. Having one slice a day for a week is not good.
It's too much.
And it's like that when you're trying to control your leptin, your insulin. There's a lot going on in our body that when we eat that one slice of birthday cake and we're not processing sugar right, that sends a whole lot of warning signals in. It increases the inflammation. We get bloated, and then our body starts to hold on to things because it's inflamed. So again, the goal with a lot of this is to find out what's going on with your body, know your body and understand it. But to also know, what your goals are, what are your health goals.
Sure.
And then move forward with that.
Very good. Absolutely. And like you said earlier too, I like what you said about partnering up with a coach to hold you accountable, because it really is a struggle. It's like addiction, and food addiction is a real thing. And for anything else, like for example, alcoholics, they usually recommend professional guidance and help. And loneliness or being alone is one of the worst things. Someone who's overeating or not eating properly, they can get trapped. And so that's why I was really happy that you definitely recommended they should probably seek that professional help out there.
Yes. I mean, there's a lot of food addictions. Sugar is the #1 drug in our country today.
Yeah. Very true.
It's as addictive, if not more, than alcohol,
Sure.
prescription drugs, illegal drugs. I mean, it's huge,
Hmm.
and what it does to the body when in excess is horrible.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing is sugar is in almost everything we buy that's packaged in a box, in a
Hmm.
bag, pre-prepared restaurant meals. Sugar is in there.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's it's hard to take those first steps to eliminate it, but it's one of the best things we can all do for our bodies.
Yeah, that's true. And not to mention, on top of all that, of course, is exercise, right?
Exercise is huge.
Hmm.
Having physical education, having an exercise plan or
Hmm.
routine. They say even a 20-minute walk every day
Yep. Hmm.
is good. So get out there and get moving. And that adds to it. A
Yep.
lot of people, they go to the gym, they hire a personal trainer, they do something about their physical exercise. Do the same thing for your health. Find a health coach. If you're struggling with a health issue, get support and help to move forward in a positive environment that's nurturing and supportive.
Yeah. And Elsie, you mentioned a couple minutes ago, just briefly, you mentioned the words physical education, and I think that's pretty important because a lot of times it starts in schools and growing up that we're taught, and it's ingrained here, especially in the U.S., that, well, if you get sick or you get injured or if you have a disease, just go to the doctor and take care of it. But like your whole last almost 30 minutes here that you've been talking about is pretty much physical education that people aren't really educated that why not instead go to the source of the problem and start as a preventive maintenance, kind of what you're suggesting. Like you said, if you do all this and do a food health coach and eat properly and stress reduction, everything that you're talking about, then you would not need all the ailments and treatments that a doctor would prescribe, right?
That's very true. That's
Hmm.
very true. If a lot of us want to take a pill. We don't want to deal with the situation. We
Hmm.
want to prescribe something
Quick
and then
fix.
want to just keep going.
Yep.
And if you look at all the Nutrisystem and
Yep.
other diet commercials, what kinds of foods are they showing? Pizza, pasta,
Brownies, chocolate.
chocolate ice cream,
Yep.
brownies.
Hmm.
It's
Exactly.
like, you know what? You can't eat all those carbs and be thin.
Hmm. Yep. And it's
You
instant
can't.
gratification. They say 30
Yep.
days or your money back. And,
Yep.
you know,
And protein powders now are loaded with sugar.
yep.
Yogurt, tons of sugar. Part of the process is learning, reading labels,
Oh, yeah.
learning what's in our food. That's
Hmm.
why labeling of food and food products is so important. We need to know what we're consuming, what's in the food and the other things we're putting in our mouths
Hmm.
and swallowing. All of that has an effect on our body, all of it. All the chemicals have an effect on our body. I am a big believer, as you will know, I'm like preaching to the choir here. Eat whole foods.
Yep.
Limit the boxes and the packages.
Hmm.
Eat whole foods.
Yeah.
And especially now in the spring and summer, eat local whole foods. There are so
Mm.
incredible farms that come in and have all the local markets.
Yeah.
And they're really catching on. And you can actually meet the people who are growing your food, the vegetables, the fruits, and they're so delicious and they're so good for you.
Hmm. Elsie, I don't remember if I can't remember. You know where I'm at Far Road and Peachtree Road,
Yeah,
down the street. Are you familiar? I can't. And stop me if we've already talked about this. St. Philip's Cathedral.
they have a huge farmers market on Saturday.
Right. I can't remember if I asked you, but do you go to those on Saturday mornings?
I don't go to that one. I go
Okay.
over to the Decatur Farmers Market on
That's close.
Saturday morning.
That's closer to you, right? Of
It's closer
course.
to me.
Yeah.
And there's a particular vendor there that I like to get my
Okay.
get some meats and eggs from.
Okay.
And then there are a couple of other vendors there I really like a lot. But and the other reason is Decatur is easier for me to park.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
the Episcopal Church, you've got to get there early or
Yep.
around there because parking is limited there. But it
It's
is
true.
huge, and actually, there are quite a few vendors I know that do that market. That I go to the Grant Park market on Sundays, so I
Oh,
see
okay.
those vendors on
Gotcha.
Sundays at Grant Park.
Cool. Okay. Oh, if you're ever around on Saturday, let me know. But these are really good pieces of advice you're giving. A lot of people don't know about them. I didn't know about them honestly till I saw it. I was asking, "What's that all about?" Because again, it's just something that most of us don't know about.
Yeah, there's a
Hmm.
you can Google local farmers markets or Google
Oh.
farmers markets
Hmm.
in my area, and
Yeah.
it'll pop
Yeah.
up a list. Marietta has one, and I think Marietta's goes year round.
Oh.
The Grant Park Farmers Market is now year round.
Oh, cool.
Um, and Decatur Farmers Market is in the from April to December.
Okay. Hmm.
Absdale has one that is April to October.
Hmm. Hmm.
And there's one vendor, Circle M Farms. They actually take orders and they deliver year round.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's really
So
good.
they do an off season market. They do winter produce, um, but you have to reach out to them, get on their email
Hmm.
list, and you can get their local produce year round.
Okay. Okay.
Granted, there's maybe a month um, that I think the Grant Park Farmers Market stops in December, but then
Hmm.
it picks up in the middle of January.
Okay. Hmm.
And so some of these year-round ones, there's about a 4 to 5 week period where they'll stop in December, but then they'll pick up in the middle to late January.
Hmm.
But you can
Gotcha.
get all this information on Google.
Yeah.
One thing I've done too is I really try to eat what's in season, uh,
Smart.
so
Yeah.
that I'm
Hmm.
eating vegetables and fruits that are naturally at their sweetest
Hmm.
during their season. So I'm
Yeah.
getting not only the benefits of eating them, but I'm getting them at their prime
Yeah. Yeah.
versus being
Hmm.
forced or being picked completely unready and then ripening on a cargo boat over. So I really try to eat local and in season.
Yeah, great pieces of advice, Elsie. And then one last question for you before we start to wrap up. We've got Fourth of July coming up pretty soon, and as we know, a lot of holidays in America are centered and focused around large consumptions of food. We're talking barbecue,
Yeah.
ribs, and drinking beer and such. So, if there's one piece of suggestion out there for anyone listening, and they're on the fence, and maybe they've got a food addiction or they're struggling and if they didn't hear anything else in the last half hour, what's one strong kind of piece of advice you can leave them with in terms of being careful next week for Fourth of July for celebrating?
So gosh, it's hard for me to get down to one
It's
thing,
hard,
but
yeah.
but
Hmm.
but really is to um, focus on your green vegetables.
Hmm. There you go.
Focus on your green vegetables.
Good idea.
If there's a big tossed salad, start with your big tossed salad.
Yep.
Eat that first and then move on to the ribs.
Yep.
If you are in the middle of a weight loss program and you're trying to lose weight, say, you know what? I'm going to give myself, say your family's not getting together on the 4th of July, you're getting together over the weekend.
Hmm.
Then stick to your clean eating plan until you get to that family gathering.
Yeah. Good idea.
Then allow yourself, say, I'm going to Saturday, my family is getting together. I'm have a great time, enjoy yourself. On Sunday, get right back on your clean eating plan.
Absolutely. Good. Hmm.
If you're struggling with what to eat, go for the green vegetables, go for the protein, leave the carbs, the potato salad, the macaroni salad, the chips. If there's carrots, celery, radishes, olives, go for those. with the sour cream dip, over the chips with the sour cream. Eat your vegetables. Focus on the vegetables.
Love it. That's very, very good, Elsie. I always learn so much every time we talk on one of these from you, so I'm just so grateful and appreciative of all the information you have. And before we let you go, I'll turn around and I'll say the best piece of advice if they're on the fence and they need some more help. They need to hire someone like you and team up with you for your expertise. So how could they do that, Elsie, if they were ready? Let's say they're ready to go ahead and jump in it. How do they contact you directly?
If you're ready to end your struggle with food, please call me for a conversation. My number is 404-788-1610. That's 404-788-1610. And we can just have a conversation.
Perfect. Good, Elsie. Well, they need to call you. And that line you gave us, they could text you there as well, Elsie?
They can text me there as well, too.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Excellent. All right. Well, very good. This was a lot of fun, Elsie. Again, half hour just flies by so quickly all the time with you. And we got so much crammed in that short amount of time, too. Thank you. Elsie, happy 4th to you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And thank you.
Happy 4th to you, too, and the
you.
kids.
Yeah,
Tell
I
everybody
appreciate
I say hi.
Absolutely.
And
Will
have
do.
a wonderful,
Yes.
safe holiday, everybody.
Thank you. Happy 4th, everyone.